Hi, it's Kara and today we are reviewing Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Children of Blood and Bone is set in a West African-inspired fantasy world where the group of magic wielders known as Magi have been subjected to basically genocide by the king. Magic was taken away and every adult Magi with powers was killed. Our main character Zaylee is the teenage daughter of one of these Magi who was killed when she was younger, and she has the physical trait. She has the snow white hair that indicates she has the potential to be a Magi if magic was still around. She's just trying to survive and not get persecuted because obviously they're physically different from the non-magic users. And so they're often targeted. It's caught in the plot with the princess who's rebelling against her father and Zaylee's brother who is normal, so he's not a Magi. I think the princess's name is Amari, I think. They've been given this opportunity to bring back magic, and so they're going on a quest to get it back in a time-limited kind of way. So they go against the king and the prince, the two main villains in a time-restricted mission to bring back magic. So to the characters, I really enjoyed Zaylee as a character. She was very strong and connected to her history and her land, which I thought was done really well. The race relations between the groups and the characters was dealt with very carefully, but in a really strong way. Like, the own voices definitely helps with that. It was done with very well in my opinion, though I wouldn't consider my opinion very strong. I obviously have no knowledge of how it would be to be African of any description, let alone the race relations within Africa. I am not African. And I am also woefully underinformed about African culture. I have some African workmates. That's about as much African knowledge that I have. I have a Nigerian workmate and a Malawian workmate. And I know a little bit about Nigeria and Malawi, but that's about it, and only what I've heard secondhand from them. Our other heroine, Amari, the runaway princess, was also very interesting. I think her background and her motivations were a little less fleshed out than Zaylee, which kind of made an imbalance there. Our villains have a kind of similar combination, with one being very well developed and the other being a little less so. So we follow Inan, who is the prince, who's kind of one of our main villains, and we get to see from his point of view, and his story is really well developed. I always understood his motivations, and although he was a bit flip-floppy with what he was doing, it always seemed grounded and genuine. Whereas our other main villain is the king, and I think he was rather underdeveloped. He just seemed a bit mustache twirly. It gave some hints to his background which implied why he was hunting to get rid of magic, but I thought that was rather underdeveloped, and I really would have wanted some more background, especially as he was such a influential villain throughout the story. This book, in my opinion, has two main threads, and that is number one, their journey to bring back magic, and then number two, the romance. I kind of want to treat them separately because I almost don't think they're intertwined that well. I adored the quest plot. I loved finding out new pieces of the puzzle and the many setbacks that were introduced as they tried to fight against those. I was really rooting for Zaylee, Amari, and her brother, and felt a lot of emotions over the course of the story in regards to that part of the plot. However, I was not such a fan of the romance. I thought this was rather insta-lovey. Each of the romances, there's a couple that I kind of delved into over this, I thought were pretty underdeveloped, a bit intense, and kind of jumped on very fast. It's definitely, in my opinion, quite insta-lovey, especially seeing as this isn't really happening over that long a period of time. If you took the romance out of this book, I think I would have liked it significantly more. I think the world building in this story was absolutely phenomenal. I loved immersing myself in the culture and the magic systems. However, I think there was a few pacing issues. This ties into those insta-love problems, but also there were scenes that I found the action and pacing of the action didn't sit well with me. There was a point where we meet a series of characters, we're meant to connect very deeply with them, as the main characters do, and then follow them into a big battle, and then there's a tragedy. Unfortunately, this all kind of happened very quickly, and I don't feel like the pacing of this sequence really led me to feel immensely for those characters, which meant that the tragedy didn't have the same kind of impact. Our main characters made it through the whole story unscathed, and it never felt like they were really in any danger. There was these side characters that were in danger, but they kind of get introduced and then disappear again very quickly, and that pacing kind of didn't sit well with me. I think the plot of this could have been expanded and more time taken for those pacing issues and then spread across 2 books, because this book is quite chunky. It's over 500 pages with quite tiny font, and I really think it could have been expanded over 2 books with really good expansion on those points to remove the insta-love and kind of fix those pacing issues. So overall, I really enjoyed Children of Blood and Bone. It was a fun read with great characters and I really felt for their plight. However, I thought there were a few pacing issues and I wasn't a fan of the romance. In the end, I gave Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi a 3.75 stars. So thanks for watching my review. Comment down below if you've read Children of Blood and Bone and what you thought about it, and otherwise I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!